I want to speak against the good Queen Bess, bad King John view of history that I see a lot of people promoting. Okay. Um, I you can see this on both the left and the right, but recently I've seen it mostly by conservatives. Although um, it has been promoted on the liberal side. For example, people who basically blame Phyllis Schlafly entirely for the defeat of the Equal Rights Amendment. But if the Equal Rights Amendment had had much that was obviously substantive to offer American women, it would have passed. Phyllis Schlafly simply pointed out that either we already had what we wanted, or we had some way of getting it without an Equal Rights Amendment. And yes, I am wearing a shirt that says a woman's place is in the House and in the Senate. And guess what? Without an Equal Rights Amendment, we can get elected to the House and to the Senate. Okay, anyway, I want to go on to the conservatives. I wrote an article blasting Alfred Kinsey, but I don't necessarily think Alfred Kinsey was all powerful. Okay, some people though do. They seem to think that he was almost all problems caused today were the result of one man, Alfred Kinsey. Okay, but a lot of others though want to put it on a woman, and they want to put it specifically on Margaret Sanger, because Margaret Sanger is not only she's responsible for abortion, she's responsible for transgenderism, she's responsible for the Holocaust. Now, the odd thing about that is, of course, that the Nazis, one of the first things they did was banned all her books and burned them. They shut down family planning clinics. They banned all feminist organizations. But according to some of the anti-Planned Parenthood and conservative groups, they quote Goebbels as praising her as the best National Socialist in America, the best Nazi in America. Are the Nazis who believed women's sphere was, children, kitchen, and church, going to praise a woman who wrote a magazine called Woman Rebel? Not likely. In addition, Sanger joined a group early on in the early 1930s called the Anti-Nazi Committee, and wrote about how appalled she was by the things going on in Germany. And she also worked to help Jews escape from persecution in Nazi Germany. Now, I don't necessarily worship everything that Sanger did throughout her life. She supported the decision in Buck versus Bell that allowed the forcible sterilization of a woman because she was what was called in those days mentally retarded, and what would be called in these days mentally challenged. Okay, but I would hasten to add, she didn't make that decision. It was made by Justice Oliver Wendell Holmes. And for some reason, these conservative groups don't go after Justice Oliver Wendell Holmes, who wrote that decision. But anyway, going on to my major point. Okay, I don't think that these individuals can carry the weight of all the social changes that happened since they lived. Okay, I don't think they were all powerful. I think, though, that this tendency to want to point the finger at these people shows just a deep desire to want somebody to blame. There's a real desire, blame, blame, point the finger. Okay, there have been a lot of changes that have occurred in the past century or so. One of them is that life expectancy has increased. That, I think, plays into a lot of things, including a higher divorce rate. It was a lot easier for people to be